Hello, everyone. My name is Shea Marriott. Welcome back to the therapy room. Today, I have the pleasure to speak to therapist Coleen O'Connor. Hi, Colleen.
Hi, Shay.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you so much for taking time to sit with us. And welcome back to the therapy room because this is not your first time in the therapy room.
No,
Yeah,
no.
so I appreciate you
I'm
making
happy to
time
be
for
back.
us. So, Colleen, I've been asking all the therapists that have joined me in the therapy room over the last couple weeks, why did you choose to become a therapist?
Um, I chose to become a therapist in honor of a young man that I met when he was 11 years old,
Mhm.
and he had been diagnosed at the age of 5 with leukemia. And I had the honor to meet him and be a part of his journey with leukemia from the time he was 11 until he was 19 years of age when he succumbed to his illness. And he was not comfortable with therapy. And at the time, I was not a therapist. But as we know, kids choose their people, and
Mhm.
I was his person.
Yeah.
And, um, you know, my director and our psychologist, I kept going to him saying, I just don't feel prepared. What do I need to know? Help me with this. And they just kept saying, you got it.
Yeah.
So when Nick passed away, I realized that I wanted to go back to school to
Mhm.
be better prepared to work with kids who were dealing with chronic illnesses. And that was my area. I started in 1985 working in a program called the First State School, Christiana Care, Colonial, and then Red Clay. We all collaborated, similar to a school
Mhm.
where it has a wellness center. This is a hospital that has a school.
Oh, wow.
So it's a flip
Okay.
flop. And
Yeah.
we're celebrating the 40th year this year, 40 years. I
Wow.
was there at the beginning, so I'm not a spring chicken by any means. But so I met a lot of wonderful kids, but Nick really touched my heart. And he was the one who said to me, go back to school, become a counselor,
Wow.
so you can help other people. And
Wow.
so I did that. So it's been over 20, almost 25 years I've been a counselor. And so that's why. And I love kids and I love people. So, you know, I've worked with, you know, kids as young as 3 and people as old as in their mid 70s, you
Mhm.
know. So, and I like that blend,
Yeah.
I like working with all different ages.
Yeah. What a
Yeah.
nice story. That's a great story. So thank you to Nick because we love Colleen here at Delaware Center for Counseling
Thank
and
you.
Wellness. Yeah, we
And
definitely
I love it here too.
yeah.
Definitely
So
love it here.
Colleen, you actually, if people want to come in for therapy, they're actually going to meet you first because you do the intakes and make sure everybody is taken care of. So explain how the intake process pretty much starts for a client that has never been to therapy before. What can they expect?
Mhm. Clients can go to the website, uh, centerforchilddevelopment.com, and there is a little blue link there. They click on registration packet. When they click on that, it pops up and it's a fillable form. You go through and just fill it out and, hit submit, and it comes to the office. The office reviews the insurance information, and then if they have any questions about the insurance, they contact the parent or the client, to ask the questions about it. If not, the next call they're going to get is probably from me. And I call and I schedule a Zoom session to meet with them. However, I can also meet with them in the office. So it's really what their preference, if they want to do, in office or they want to do Zoom. Um, we'll schedule it. We try to, as quick as we possibly can, we get this scheduled. And once I meet with the client, I go through a list of questions, kind of background information, what's been happening. It's a very easy process. I know for new people to therapy, it's anxiety producing to kind of talk about what's going on with them.
Yeah.
But I try to make it as easy as possible, do a
Mhm.
little bit of family history, um, kind of get some ideas of what goals they'd like to get out of therapy. If there is a specific type of therapist they're looking for,
Mhm.
um, if there's, a lot of times kids will say to me, I'd like somebody young. And, and I say, and we've got a lot of young people, so I think
Right.
you'll get a young person.
Yes.
Um, and, and sometimes kids will say, or adults will say, you know, I want a person of color. I
Mhm.
want somebody who looks like me. And
Mhm.
that's perfectly fine. And then other people are like, I don't really care.
Right.
Whoever you match me up with is just fine.
Right.
And and I encourage them too, if you don't feel like it's a good fit,
Mhm.
to let the office know or let your therapist know that you
Yeah.
just want to try somebody else, because not everybody works well together.
Exactly.
So that's important. But we want to make therapy an easy process,
Mhm.
so that people don't feel anxious about filling out that form and actually coming to this first appointment. Uh,
Yes.
Once the intake is over, and I gather like times they're available, days, whether they want virtual appointments, whether they want in person. When we figure all that out, then I submit it to the leadership team, and they look at the intake and everything I've included, and then match the person up with the best fit.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, my last question for you is, I know that with Delaware Center for Counseling and Wellness, which is the adult side of the practice, and then
Mhm.
Center for Child Development, which is our school-based and our our play therapy and our trauma play and all of that. I know with them, I'm sorry, them. I'm saying them as if I'm not a part of this, but
Yeah.
with the practice, we're very committed to treating the whole person and not just a diagnosis. So, in your opinion, what makes Delaware Center for Counseling and Wellness and the Center for Child Development, what makes this company a great place to start your therapy journey?
Well, for Delaware Center for Counseling and Wellness, um, it's harder for adults to accept that they need to go to therapy or they want to go to therapy.
Mhm.
So, again, we try to make it very easy. And as you said, we look at the whole person. We don't look at a diagnosis. And when people come in, especially doing the intakes, I don't look at them and say, oh, you're definitely this.
Right, right.
That's not even the process. And really, the diagnosis is not as important as the process.
Mm-hmm.
The diagnosis, yes, maybe if medication is necessary, or maybe if we need it to, comply with the insurance
Yeah,
regulations and things
yeah.
like that. But we look at the whole person and meet them where they are. And that's the important thing, is to, when you go into that room, you meet them where they are. And as therapists, we leave our baggage at the door.
Mm-hmm.
It is it is a non-judgmental space. They can say whatever they feel they need to say. And we support adults. As Delaware Center for Counseling and Wellness came about, is
Yeah,
because as we started with children, we realized there were so many adults that weren't
yeah,
having their needs met.
right,
So
right.
we added this portion of the practice,
Mm-hmm.
um, so that we can meet the needs of adults.
Yeah.
And I'm going to probably be seeing more adults
Mm-hmm.
as children coming up, and I'm really enjoying seeing adults.
Yeah.
And I love it because adults come to therapy because they want to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, helping somebody figure out what they want to do
Yeah,
is a true blessing. And it is an honor for someone to trust you in that
absolutely.
sacred space of therapy. It's a
Yeah.
sacred space.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Colleen. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
And I appreciate your time, taking time to sit with us and explain the intake process and introduce yourself to people, our community. Coleen is an amazing person to work with. She has a great personality and she's an excellent therapist. So if you are looking for services and you would like to meet Coleen, go to our website, the centerforchilddevelopment.com or Delaware Center for Counseling and Wellness. And you can get a chance to look at all of our therapists and what they specialize in, and give us a call at 302-292-1334, or you could simply just go to the website and you can sign up from there. Coleen, any last minute words you have?
No, I am blessed that I found the Center for Child Development, Delaware Center for Counseling and Wellness. I am entering my fourth year here, and
Yeah.
it's been a great experience.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you're an amazing person, so we
Well,
appreciate
thank you.
you. Yes.
And right back at you.
Thank you.
You are amazing as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Colleen. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for your insight. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of the Therapy Room. And we will be back with you next week. And until then, please have an amazing day.